said I was going to make a little video about this. Then I hesitated because I was going to do something different. And then I went back from the hesitation, and I figured I'll go ahead and talk about it now. It's not like I didn't share the fact that I went out and bought this, but to try and give a little bit more details on the situation and what to expect moving forward. So I bought a K-Series all-wheel drive transmission, and I might be buying a B-Series somewhat in the near future. It's not going to be a priority right now, but got one. And yes, it's for me. I mean, will I sell it if somebody offers me the right price? Of course. If I can make a little bit of profit off of what I got, I'll just reinvest into another one. But I did buy this at a retail price, which was $11.50. I've seen them go for like $800-900, which is a couple $100 less. So if you can find it secondhand on the market for a little less than what I pay for it, I'm going to be charging you more because I got to ship it. Then yeah, there's that. But so no, I didn't buy this with any kind of plans to sell it or flip it out or anything. I 100% plan to use it. So I have learned from past mistakes when it comes to project building and whatnot. So the K-Series hatch that I had and wound up selling for $1,500, I always really intended to sell that car. I got pissed off when somebody tried me, and I got a little prideful. I was like, well, I'm going to just turn it into a monster. But the circumstances at the time I had the car was against me. I was worried about keeping the storage space, and having problems with that. And I needed to get rid of it because I couldn't keep it at the house. So that's why that car got sold. Plus, the biggest deciding factor and the biggest mistake I made with that car was there was just way too much basic stuff that needed to be done. And you guys that have been long-term watchers have know that my Integra, which is now running and somewhat driving, is pretty much done except for basic stuff. And that basic stuff has made the car sit for an extra 1.5 2 years now, just because I don't have time to get to it. So with that K-hatch, it was a lot of extra basic shit that I was gonna have to go through, a lot of extra hoops I was gonna have to jump through to get it done. And I don't want to do that. So being that the mistake I've learned from that, and also from the Integra to follow up, that I went to delete the ABS and stuff like that. So I gave myself extra work on the car that I really didn't need to do. So that's the lesson I'm taking away from these last two projects, is that I'm not gonna make myself an extra hassle. I'll pay a little bit more money for the car to get something that's complete, running and driving, so that way I know that when I take it apart, when I take the swap out and put the new swap in, that it's not going to be any stupid problems, like chasing electrical problems or shit like that, because I knew the car ran. That's the problem with getting a shell. Yes, you save money, but on top of that, you wind up potentially running into extra problems and headaches. So to try and avoid that, when the time comes, I'm going to be buying a running and driving car, or at least a car that turns on. So, what the plan is right now is to 100% complete the swap. Like, I want to have the swap 100% ready. I want to have all the all-wheel drive parts ready to go, and then I'll buy a car. So that way, at that point, it's just doing the conversion and installing the swap. So now, as far as it goes to buying everything, right? There's a lot of the little stuff for the swap to complete the swap will, a couple $100 and below. So I figured I'm going to start there because that's the basic stuff. So buy the basic stuff first, buy all the cheaper stuff first. And once all the cheap shit's bought, then I'll move up to buying the more expensive things, because of course the all-wheel drive conversion is going to be expensive. Buying the trailing arms, the diff kit, the mounting kit, all that shit. I'm looking at all these parts, and a lot of parts are looking like $1,000, $900, $1,200, shit like that. So I'm going to buy those probably one at a time, once a month type shit. Until the swap is done. Here's my issue. I kind of jumped into the deep end of the pool this month with kind of stretching myself thin on my resources. Not like being a broke type thing, but just that I'm committed to buy too many expensive things this month. A friend of mine offered to sell me a K2082 long block. I committed to buying it. Of course, I haven't bought it yet because I bought a bunch of K24s the other day that needed to be bought. But I've committed to buying that, and I don't like going back on my word. And dude's holding it down without posting online, so I'm going to buy that. And that's going to take a big chunk out of my pocket. And I'm mainly buying that for the head, not for the block, So there's that. And then also there is the temptation to buy the B Series all-wheel drive Transit. That's a possibility, but I might not do that. It's probably going to wait because it's not an important thing. I can get it for $700, but why spend $700 on something I don't really plan on using anytime soon? And then there's the other thing that's kind of stretched me out, that's going to kind of hold me back a little bit from buying the all-wheel drive stuff, is that I've talked about buying an L15 now for the past 3 or 4 months, spare L15. A friend of mine, or Alex built, or it used to be Alex built, but anyway, Alex Thomason, he buys L15s on a regular. Actually, as a matter of fact, when it comes down to doing the SI swap, he's going to be the one doing that for me. I'm not going to fuck with that, because I want it to go as smooth and quickly as possible. He does it all the time, so he's going to do it. He's offering me a really good price. But he buys L15 long blocks, and he gets them for $800 on a regular. So I am going to buy one from him. So I have to buy this A2, and then I'm going to buy the L15B, the spare one. And then and also in this process, my wife, we got her into a beater to get to and from work, but the car has problems. I don't want to commit to it. It's a really old piece of shit car with a bug problem, so I don't want to commit anything to that car. So I'm going to buy her another car as soon as possible, which is maybe in the next couple of weeks. That's probably going to cost me a couple $1,000s right there. So as far as going to start this project, what I'm going to do, right? The L15B isn't the biggest priority, and because I'm not going to have to spend I don't have to spend so much money buying a lot of parts, I'm going to keep it pretty basic for the L15. I only want to make around 300 wheel horsepower in that car. So pistons and rods, which I've already talked to Jesse, so I'm going to get a little bit of help there. It won't be as expensive for me. So pistons and rods, and then I'm probably going to buy an upgraded turbo, injectors, downpipe, bolt-ons, fares, shit like that. So that being the fact that it's not a priority, that's gonna be something that goes on the back burner. So once I invest in the L15, I'm gonna set it aside, and I'll buy it as convenient as far as pistons and rods, and then I'm gonna go back to focusing on the all-wheel drive car. So if it's like, hey, when are you going to do this? The whole plan is to have this done faster than the Integra. The Integra, I'm not stressing on it too much, because I really am just waiting for me to get a house to finish that so I can work in a more comfortable setting and shit. But as far as the all-wheel drive kit goes, I'm just going to keep buying stuff, and then of course I'll post pictures of the block and the swap as it comes together. And also I'm gonna price everything out, like every single dime that I spent on the rest of the kit, aside from the long block itself, pistons and rods, because you guys already know my prices. I'm gonna price everything that I have gone together. Now I'm not gonna try and ghetto cheap this out. There are some things that are gonna be spent. They're gonna be high dollar, but yes, I'm gonna go with a little cheaper things here and there where I can. And also because the wheel horsepower goal isn't not a moon build. So far, right, immediately going into thought, I just want to make 650 horsepower as a K24 or a K20 built pistons and rods. I know it's not going to be a problem getting that power level, and I also know it's not going to stress too much. So that immediately is going to save me some money on being able to not buy super extreme things. And then once the car is up and running, I'll run on it as long as it holds together, I guess, and then if it fails, then I would get a high horsepower CSS K24 and go for 1,000 horsepower build. But for the time being, the soft goal is only 650 horsepower, and then go from there. So yeah, I am going to build the all-wheel drive car. I'm going to get the entire swap together first, all the all-wheel drive components together first, and once that is in the bag, then I will go to getting a car and putting it all together. So right now, with just from work, the net household income is around $6,500 a month. So once I get past buying the L15, once I get past buying, yeah, that's really it. Once I get past buying the L15, my wife's my wife's extra car, her new daily, and is buying this A2, then I can start buying parts towards the all-wheel drive stuff. I wanted to go and immediately start doing that. I had to kind of fight myself on doing that, but I gotta take care of priorities first. Also, any extra money coming from VHB engines at this point, like for the most of this COVID year of 2020, every single dime I had to leave in the bank, because my wife's income was next to nothing, and we were getting by on just mine. So there was a constant fear of not being able to make payments on bills or whatnot. So I had to always keep at least $3,000 in the bank. We're not at that point anymore where, I mean, of course I'm going to still keep a bottom dollar in the bank account, but now I can, be spending $1,000 a month on parts isn't going to be like, oh my God, I can do that, and we're not going to really notice it too much. And again, now that the money is flowing back to us, pretty substantially back into the household now, I can use all my VHB money, which is what I originally like to do, is use all my VHB engine profit to buy parts. So every time that somebody buys a head off of me, a block off of me, you come to buy any parts, anything that I make profit-wise off of VHB engines will go into buying things for this swap. So I would imagine that by the end of this year, I will already have my L15B. My wife will already have her a newer old daily, and I will have already, I plan on paying for the A2 here in a week or so. So there's that. Once that happens, then I can start moving on to the all-wheel drive build. And I think that by December, the end of December, January, I will already be buying parts for the all-wheel drive setup. And of course, I am going to finish buying things for the long block first. I already have a head gasket, so I'm going to put my RBB head on, and I've already got intake manifold and whatnot. So there's not too much more that needs to be there. I think before I can actually bolt this trans on, I just need to buy me a twin disc. So I'm going to get that. Once the twin disc is bought, then the swap will be together on an engine stand, and I can start buying the all-wheel drive shit again. So I think that it's not an unlikely scenario that by this time, or by summer of 2021, if I'm not done with assembling the kit, I'll be fucking close. So there's that. Also, if another stimulus package comes through, that's definitely going towards that. There's that situation. So yeah, hopefully, you guys can start seeing pictures of this shit coming together pretty soon, and I will document everything on the computer with every single part bought, to see how much it's going to cost me at the end of the day. Most of this shit's going to be bought retail. I'm not going to be looking for deals through secondhand buys or whatnot. The only time I'm going to do that is when we get down to like the drive shaft and differential and stuff like that, because I don't think that I can afford to be paying anybody like a fresh fad one, or I just don't want to. Like, somebody builds a billet differential or whatnot, I'd rather not go that route. So yeah. Okay, I feel like I've been a little rambly here. Kind of just wanted to throw my thoughts out there. That's why it took so long to talk about this. I wanted to make sure I'm somewhat understandable or whatnot. I want to go to talk about this shit. And I wanted to have a more clear objective in my mind, because, like I said, I'm kind of jumping all over the place with where I want to start, what I want to start buying. I'm kind of committed to too much in one shot. So, yeah, I'm going to knock out this. I'm going to spend the rest of this month and maybe some of next month using those paychecks to knock out some of the smaller things that aren't related to the swap. And then once that's done, then I will start going to back to assembling everything for the all-wheel drive kit. Alright guys, so yeah, also there's one, the last Vitara build that went together, I'm still pending some money on that. So once that money comes in, that might go towards buying one of the things I need to buy, one of the ancillary things like the L15 or the K20. So if I get paid for the rest of the money for that build, then that knocks out one of my things, and then I for sure within the next month or so I can start buying stuff for this all-wheel drive conversion. Alright guys, yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.